अस्सलाम वालेकुम, welcome to Sunday Brunch with Lubna. एक बार फिर मैं हाजिर हूँ आप लोगों के साथ. Thank you so very much for choosing TV1. We know you have plenty of choices and you choose TV1, so thank you. And I know it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I'm sure you all are enjoying your weekend. And you know, the show Sunday Brunch with Lubna in May, as a matter of fact, I believe in May it'll be 2 years I've been with TV1, and it's just amazing. The amazing guests I have met, the wonderful topics I have discussed with all of you, and not only that, being a part of TV1 has been absolutely wonderful. किस तरह से 2 साल गुजरे, चलो बाद में बात करेंगे कैसे गुजरे 2 साल. जो लोग आज पहली बार देख रहे हैं, those of you that are watching for the first time, let me tell you what happens on the show. I invite people from our community, from our different communities, to come and talk about themselves. People who are doing some positive things in our community. Many of these people you already know. Some you obviously watch them from my show and learn about them. So ये थोड़ा सा मैंने information आपको देनी थी, and I do want to give out the phone number if you want to call in and give a comment about the guest of our show today. And not only that, if you would like to give a topic you want me to discuss, anything at all, certainly the number is 855-886-6387 extension 4. This extension is very important. If you want to get to our show, then you have to put the extension in. There's also an email address where you can email us, and we'll get to you slowly but surely. We will definitely get back to all of you. And right now, TV1 is watched throughout the US and Canada. And not only on Dish Network you can watch TV1, you can also watch it on Sling TV. And TV1 has 14 different shows across America that are being done from the US, the only TV station doing that many shows. So thank you, and thank you for being a part of my show. Well, without any further ado, I do want to talk to our guest, introduce our wonderful guest, and tell you about them. The first guest we have is Neeta Sani, who is with us. She's an HCC trustee. She also is HCC Aspire founder and president, and she does a lot of volunteer work. Because if I start explaining where she volunteers, it'll be my whole show. So good afternoon. How are you, Neeta?
Good afternoon, Lubna. I'm doing fine, and thank you for having us on your show. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming out.
Of course.
Okay.
It's a pleasure.
And we'll talk to you too in just a few minutes.
Sure.
And the second guest we have is Andrea Guy Halath, who is a community outreach coordinator, and she's also had a media background for 20+ years. And let's welcome her. Good afternoon, Andrea. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for having us on the show.
No problem. Thank you for coming out. And Neeta, we're just going to go straight out to you and ask you the first question. And I know I just joked about this, that you do a lot of volunteer work. And if I started telling people how many things you do, it'll take up my whole show. How do you take time out to volunteer for all these different things? And what got you volunteering?
I think it comes down to having the passion to do what is right for the society and giving back to the community that actually helps us grow.
Right.
When we arrived in the United States, we literally came with, of course, a strong background in education and a job. And the point is, I think this country has given us so much, so many blessings we have had and opportunities. I always felt that it's time for us to give back. When we are doing so well, it's time for us to make sure others do benefit as well. And that drove me to get into as many initiatives I could, and I started working to help whether women's initiatives or whether it is for education. And it kind of keeps me excited about what we do. And I look at this as giving back to the community. I think that's what the major purpose and the role.
Of course.
And so I do have to balance my life, family, work, and volunteering. But I think it is worth it. I think it brings a lot of fulfillment from the personal standpoint, and also it benefits the people that you make difference in.
Of course. And I think that that's very important. It's like fulfillment. Anyway, something else I wanted to ask you about is what is HCC Aspire? I mean, HCC obviously is Houston Community College. For those people who don't know, what is HCC Aspire?
HCC Aspire, it stands for Asian Scholarship Program, Inspiring Results and Excellence. Okay. And I started this scholarship program about 4 years ago, which is a part of HCC Foundation. And we do raise scholarships for HCC students. We also give financial awards to our faculty and staff who are doing their job phenomenally, exceptionally well.
I'm sure.
And it is about making sure that our students and faculty and staff excel in higher education and at Houston Community College. And Houston Community College being one of the largest community colleges in the nation and one of the diverse institutions as well among community colleges. We do have our international student enrollment is #1 in the nation among community colleges. And so when I considered all these factors and the need of Houstonians, and there is a need to make sure that we highlight our Asian American heritage, also support students who have come from different Asian countries, I felt the need to start a scholarship program to make sure that we are inclusive of all the students. Before I joined the board, I was elected in 2007, and then I got re-elected in 2013.
Very nice.
But prior to my joining the board of HCC, we have had Hispanic Scholarship Gala. We have had Black History Month and giving scholarships to the African Americans. And somehow I felt there was a need to make sure we don't leave the Asian Americans on the sideline. And so I started that program about 4 years ago.
That's wonderful. And how do you choose the people who are getting awards? I know we'll talk a little bit later about the event that's happening in just a few days. It's already Sunday, and I think on Wednesday is your event.
Yes.
We'll talk about it a little bit later. But how do you choose the people who are worthy enough? And I'm not sure if that's the right politically correct word to say, if they're worthy enough to get that award. How do you choose those people?
I think since we are a pretty new organization, what we are doing at this time, we are giving awards to key stakeholders, 5 amazing business and civic leaders who have had tremendous accomplishments ranging from, let's say, public service to philanthropy to student success. And they also bring tremendous benefit to the local community as a whole. And so we have chosen 5 awardees. First one is our Houston Mayor, Sylvester Turner.
Wow, that's
and
wonderful.
He is always support of our Multicultural Society of Houston.
Of course, yes.
Been a great public servant for these years. And so we will give him the Public Service Award. Our second award will be given to Texas Secretary of State, Carlos Cascos, and we will give him the Immigrant Achievement Award. Miss Susan Seraphim, as the Houstonians know her very well, a philanthropist and businesswoman. She will be receiving our Philanthropy in Education Award. We do also, we are going to recognize and award the George Foundation that has helped HCC have a campus in Missouri City on Texas Parkway recently. So they have provided funds and the scholarships. And one most important leader we want to recognize is our own HCC leader who has made HCC #1 in international student enrollment for after 25 years of service. So her name is Dr. Parveen Bagarpour. She's our Associate Vice Chancellor of International Student Services.
Wow, that's wonderful.
And we basically chose these people because we want to make sure we open collaborative pathways for to partner with different communities.
Of course, of course. And I think that's wonderful. And we'll talk more about your event. Now, I'll talk to you again, lots of information I need to get from you. Andrew will come to you and talk to you. I know you're the Community Outreach Coordinator. The first most important thing I would want to ask you is that a lot of people here, because of the insurances, they don't have insurance. And I think this is something where being a part of TV1, I think it's important to educate the community, give them these different things they don't even know about. What about people that cannot afford insurance? What about, are there certain programs? And then of course, for women, for children and men, are there things like that people can get?
Yes, there are. There are quite a few things available. A lot of this is funded by the state of Texas, and all it requires is that the person show that they're a resident of the state of Texas. It's not just Houston, just Sugar Land. It can be anywhere
like the whole
in Texas.
Is there a certain time frame? Like they have to be a resident for like 1 year, 3 months, or just if they just move here, they can apply for that?
Yes, they can. If they are moved in with someone who is a cousin or another relative, they can bring their
documentation
bill,
and show that
documentation and show that they're living here. That's all it is.
Oh wow, that's wonderful. And this is for the state of Texas, because right now I know people are watching in different states also, but this is for Texas that you're talking about right now.
Yes, and there are a few places that offer that have this model available. and one, of course, is the nonprofit organization I'm working for.
Right.
And we have 6 clinics in this area.
Wow.
And what we offer is a healthy children's program.
Okay.
And that's up to their 22nd birthday, when they turn age 22.
So until the age of 22,
Yes.
they can actually get this for free if
Yes,
they qualify.
if they qualify.
Okay.
The state lets them go up until 22, which is very important because CHIP and Medicaid,
right.
and things like that cut people off at age 18.
Right.
So this program fills that gap.
So
For
you get 4
college
years
students,
extra,
for
right.
example, right, who aren't working yet, they're intensely involved with their studies,
Right.
and they don't have any insurance.
Exactly.
They
And
get
for
sick,
schools, they need
too.
physicals, they need immunizations, all
Yes.
those things. So
And
that's
also we have
big.
dental services for
Wow.
children up to age 22, cleaning, just regular exams, fillings, root canals, even implants.
Implants. Wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, those are for children. What about the women? What about
Yes,
their
there's
programs?
another program. There's the primary health care, which is for men,
Okay.
and the extra primary health care plan, which is the Well Woman, it's also called. And it offers pap smears, and we have gynecologists to offer family planning, x-rays, regular visits, blood work, and things like that.
Right.
And for the man, the blood work, prostate exams, and things that they might need to look out for, you know, for like prostate cancer,
Of course.
blood tests that can do things like that. We have
Right.
cardiologists,
Right.
And different tests that
Right.
they can
Now,
have.
Andrea, another very important question, I think, again, because I'm trying to help those people. I mean, we all are trying to help those people who have just moved here, who have been living here, and insurance, again, being a big thing. What is the first step? Let's say someone is watching right now and they say, you know what, there's this programs for the state of Texas. And I'm sure different states, they have their own different kind of programs. You just have to research about them and find out. What would be the first step that they would need to do?
They would need to call one of the clinics that's participating in this business model.
Okay.
There are 6 in the Houston area.
Okay.
And we have a case manager at each site.
Okay.
And they actually have the power or the authority to go ahead and qualify immediately
Right.
these people.
So you don't have to wait like
Right.
2
if
weeks
you come
or
in,
something,
you're
come in and
sick,
do it.
they see you that very day.
Okay.
Even if they have to stay open late, that's fine.
Wow,
They provisionally can authorize the person to get the free services.
Right.
And then if there are other documents they might need to bring in, they would have 90 days before they would have to bring those back. So if they're very ill or they're sick and they
Look
need to
at
stay in
treatment,
bed,
right.
or they need to not let anyone catch a disease or something they have, or something contagious, they wouldn't have to come back the next day,
Right.
get out of bed, and be sick and come back ill. They could have
course.
90 days if they need more paperwork, which sometimes they do.
Right.
Depends. And then we also, those clinics would take Medicare, Medicaid, and CHIP.
Right.
And PPOs if people do have insurance.
Right.
So a large part of the population can be seen, even the ones with no insurance.
With no insurance. And I think it's very important, especially with the cost of insurances right now. There are people out there who need to be screened, who need to be checked, to be to make sure that it doesn't become something bigger. And I think if they're offering that's wonderful. And and there's so many again questions to ask you. Does the person have to be a U.S. citizen?
No.
If they want to be a program, because that's again a very big issue too. That what if they're not a citizen? Then they will not get that. What about that?
No, they don't have to be a citizen. In fact, a large group of people that are treated at these clinics are immigrants.
They are immigrants.
And they're not citizens.
Okay.
But that's okay. We don't report anything. No one reports anything to anyone. The state really doesn't want to know. All they need is their initials.
Their initials. Okay, well, we'll talk more. We'll talk more. So much information. Anyway, it's time for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.